Hello and welcome. I'm Leanne Gerrans and you're watching W News broadcasting live from the Al Arabiya headquarters. The Iran-Israel conflict is now in its 11th day, with both sides trading strikes. The US involvement has raised tensions even more. Iran vows to respond not just to Israel, but to the US too. While the US mainland is distant, experts say its bases in nearby countries could be at risk. Questions also remain about the damage to Iran's nuclear program. Stay tuned for updates on Tel Aviv, Washington and Tehran. Now, Israel and Iran have traded heavy airstrikes earlier today, this coming just a day after the US hit 3 major Iranian nuclear sites. Explosions were heard across Tehran, with Israeli strikes reportedly targeting Fordow nuclear facility and key government sites, including the notorious Evin prison, known for holding political prisoners and also dissidents. For more on this, I'm joined by Eylon Levy, former Israeli government spokesperson. Eylon, thank you for your time. Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz says it is attacking the heart of Tehran with unprecedented force. What is Israel trying to achieve with strikes on Iranian government targets in the heart of the capital today?
Oh, hi, Leanne. Israel is trying to do 2 things in this phase of the October 7th war: to eliminate the existential threat of an Iranian nuclear bomb and keep the region safe from that, to eliminate the threat of the Iranian ballistic missile industry, but I think also to give the Iranian people a chance to take back their country from the oppressive regime that has impoverished and subjugated them for the last 50 years. Israel is not trying to replace the regime in Iran. The future of Iran is for its people to decide, and no one can replace the government there. But I think Israel does think that the only way there can be enduring peace in the region is if the regime that is committed to subjugating the region to advance its vision of death to Israel is overthrown and the Iranian people are given a real chance to take their country back. And just today, we heard the Crown Prince of Iran, the exiled Reza Pahlavi, saying this is Iran's Berlin Wall moment. This is the moment the Iranian people need to stand up to the regime that has oppressed them, take back control of their country, and build a free and democratic Iran. And I think Israel will be hoping tonight that if the Iranian people rise up to try to take their country back, the world will support them, as Reza Pahlavi is demanding, and not throw them under a bus.
The world witnessed the US pull off Operation Midnight Hammer, Eylon, which hit 3 key nuclear facilities in Iran. Today, Israel has struck Fordow once again after Trump said US strikes obliterated Iran's nuclear sites. My question is, why has Israel decided to hit this target again? Was Donald Trump incorrect when he said that they were obliterated? Was this a wrong statement, Eylon?
That's a good question. I don't know the exact specifics behind Israel's tactics. I know Israel bombed the access routes to Fordow, perhaps to prevent the Iranians from getting there themselves in order to assess the damage, or maybe try to smuggle out any of the enriched uranium. But here's the key point. Israel knows that this cannot finish until the Iranian nuclear program is completely destroyed, not set back by a few weeks, not set back by a few months, beyond repair. Because otherwise the Iranian regime is going to try to rebuild that nuclear arsenal, build those nuclear weapons in order to terrorize the region. So the United States dropped those mop bombs and Israel is now trying to mop up the rest.
The nuclear watchdog is meeting today at an emergency meeting. The director warned Iran against undeclared nuclear transfer. Is Israel confident sites like Fordow, Natanz and Esfahan still have uranium? And if not, where is it?
Yeah, an emergency meeting for the IAEA, an emergency because the Iranian regime has been threatening the IAEA Just the other day, the director of the Iranian Atomic Energy Agency saying that after the war is over, they will deal with Rafael Grossi, which is a really scary warning against a top international official. Israel will be looking into the possibility that Iran tried to smuggle the uranium out of Fordow. Let's remember why it was in Fordow in the first place. 400 kilos of enriched uranium near weapons grade, no peaceful use for it, buried under a mountain, under reinforced concrete in an IRGC base, because this was a nuclear weapons program. This was not for peaceful civilian purposes or isotopes. This was for nuclear weapons. And the Prime Minister in Israel has indicated Israel has intelligence about what Iran has done with it. And it will be important as Israel continues to destroy the Iranian nuclear program to make sure that that uranium is out of the hands of the regime so they cannot try to use it to build a dirty bomb.
Israel clearly, Eylon, didn't have the military arsenal to eliminate Iran's nuclear facilities on its own. That was clear. The US was there to help. What Benjamin Netanyahu clearly started, but Trump promised when he was elected there would be no more forever wars. Is Israel confident the US will stand by them if Iran hits back? Iran is warning that they are ready to do this, and what is Israel prepared for?
First of all, I'm not sure that Israel couldn't have handled Fordow by itself. Certainly,
no, you couldn't have, because you didn't have the bunker buster bombs. You needed those from the US in order to penetrate Fordow. That couldn't have happened.
Well, that was the conventional wisdom, and for what it's worth, Israel was hinting that it had some technological surprises up its sleeve, but it doesn't matter because that's history now, and the US has already destroyed Fordow because the American administration understood the threat that Iranian nuclear weapons posed to the United States. But the Iranian regime is already retaliating. They have fired over 500 ballistic missiles at Israel in the space of the last week. They hit a hospital. They hit a cancer research center. They hit people's homes. They hit a clinic for disabled children. They are targeting civilian areas in Israel. And the United States is helping Israel to shoot down those missiles. But here is the critical point. President Trump is not starting a war now. He's helping to finish a war. By dealing the death blow to the Iranian nuclear program, the president is helping to bring to an end the war of aggression that the Iranian regime has already been waging for the last 2 years through its proxy armies. Proxy armies that, by the way, are not willing to fight for the Iranian regime anymore. Who could have imagined in the Middle East that Iran's nuclear facilities would be under attack, and even Hezbollah, an army built by the Revolutionary Guards to protect the Islamic regime, would come to the regime's defense. So the Iranian regime finds itself more isolated than ever before, weaker than ever before, and Israel is hoping that when it finishes demolishing the nuclear program and the ballistic missile program, we can draw a line under this war that the Iranian regime began.
So Tehran is warning the US, Israel and UK will bear full responsibility for the attacks. Has Israel just dragged the rest of the world into a forever conflict? We've seen things like this happen before. If you think of Iraq back in 2003, this is not something that is one and done, it appears to be.
Yeah, I hear those concerns, but what Israel has done now has been to save the world from the possibility of the world's most dangerous regime getting the world's most dangerous weapons. The Iranian regime already had 400 kilos of near weapons-grade uranium, and they were a whisker away from being able to weaponize it. If Israel did not act now, we could have woken up tomorrow to find it was too late to stop the Iranian regime. And those countries in the Middle East that have been so bravely trying to throw off the shackles of Iranian oppression, Lebanon, Syria, would find themselves under Iran's boot again. And the countries that were looking forward to peace and normalization would have been looking over their shoulder to make sure that the Iranian regime wasn't there. President Trump, I think, acted out of his own understanding of America's national interest. And that is that the Iranian regime, which chants not only death to Israel, but also death to America, cannot be allowed to possess weapons of mass destruction. And an Iranian regime, a totalitarian dictatorship that opposes the move of the Middle East towards more peace and normalization, cannot be allowed to possess nuclear weapons. That's an independent assessment of the United States' independent national interest, quite apart from whether it's good for Israel.
Eylon Levy, former Israeli government spokesperson, thank you for your thoughts. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Always good to speak.